Good morning to everyone. I welcome you for IABS IAS Academy Current Affairs channel IABS IAS News Bureau. And today we are going to discuss about the Hindu news article dated on August 17th, where we are going to talk about various articles. First article that we are going to discuss is FDA notes on Saliva Direct. Let I go to the article directly. First article, US, that is United States Food and Drug Administration Department, on Saturday given notes that gave permission to start an inexpensive COVID testing module, use of saliva instead of taking mucus from nostrils. How it is going to be used? Before starting into this thing, this new test is being developed by a department called Yale team, which is led by Nathan Grubak and Anne Uvili, who are partnered with National Basketball Association and National Basketball Player Association to validate the efficacy of saliva test in direct by part of testing players, coaches, and staff looking to continue playing while ensuring health safety. How the test is going to be there, why it is different. This saliva direct is directly going to collect the saliva from the patients as opposed to the more invasive nasopharyngeal swabs. Initially, this particular swabs were being collected from the through the mucus which is there in inner tongue and nostril of the particular patient. When we are taking this kind of particular swabs from the patient, it gets irritated the persons, and that can leads to that can sometimes leads to irritation to the person, as well as sometimes it can create uncomfortable and discouraging people from getting tested. The easier saliva test is likely to increase the testing compliance. And is it affordable? As per the observation of US FDA, it is affordable. Why it is affordable? It's cost less than $10. And apart from the costing part, the sensitivity of this new test was about 93%, according to the preprint posted on Medrix, that is a medical journal. And the saliva test can able to increase the efficiency and avoid shortage of crucial test components such as reagents. Collecting and testing saliva samples involves three steps. First one is collecting saliva without preservative buffers and proteinase K treatment and heat inactivation. This is the second step. And third step is dualplex RT-qPCR virus detection. That is easier, which makes that particular test can be done at home by individual itself. This is completely self-administered sample collection, where we don't need to have any medical support or a COVID warrior support to make this particular test in home itself. Here, the one of the major bottlenecks why this particular test is being in newspaper is whenever the particular COVID test is being done by a hospital, they are using a swab to collect the sample through nasopharyngeal swab, which is being inserted into the back of nostril, and it verily causes irritation and leading to sneezing, coughing, that can leads to exposing healthcare worker also to this particular virus. But this saliva test is directly being done by the patient itself without any help of healthcare workers. And additional advantage is collecting the sample in a sterile container. They don't need to use any swab which may leads to contamination, or it can leads to spread of this particular virus to some other species or some other human beings. There is no such fear, or we don't need to take any preventive measure to make sure that this particular virus has been spread to anyone. And this diagnostic test also doesn't require the use of preservatives at sample collection, and doesn't require specialized reagent or equipment for nucleic acidic in extraction, which is automated, and saliva test which will be free to use by diagnostic lab as per the present US FDA notes. If any NGO applies for this license at free of cost, they are willing to provide for NGO, for non-profit organization, but the government is also going to fix a minimal price to make this particular saliva test to be tested by any individual throughout US. This is the end of this particular article. And second article is related to editorial. In editorial, we are for past 3 days we are looking into same things on different names. That is the case which is being taken by Supreme Court for tweeting, for the tweet which is done by Prashant Bhushan, that is civil advocate, on usage of 50 lakh worth bike by our Chief Justice of India, that is S.J. Bobde, in informal setting. Here, two things that we need to remember in this particular article. This article start with a point saying that finding Prashant Bhushan's guilty of contempt reflects a low threshold of criticism, which means here, as per Indian fundamental constitution, anyone can have the liberty and freedom to criticize the person. He is not to this particular criticism which is being shared through the tweet. It is not extending to a criminal contempt. First one. That the same thing is also there in next article also. Apart from that, this 3-member judge on suo motu contempt proceeding against Prashant Bhushan hardly adds to dignity and majesty of the court that is ostensibly sets out to an uphold, which means nowadays Supreme Court is it is challenging the independence of judiciary without any dependence on any political will or personal will. That is the thing. And here they are using one particular word also called scandalous or scurrilous allegation. This allegation which is made on Prashant Bhushan is scandalous, which means it is not having any base. Apart from that, they have included 108 pages opinion which has been quoted by taking previous year judgment which is given by Supreme Court itself. And apart from that, here they are quoting two different tweets. First, it is related to use of 50 lakh bike by CJI S.A. Bobde, and second one is related to Bhushan's latest tweet which is tweeted by Mr. Bhushan, blaming the court, more particularly the last 4 CJI, for the destruction of democracy in the last 6 years, even without a formal emergency. Because this particular case has been taken by Supreme Court in this COVID situation. We had lot many pending cases which need to be solved in urgency basis, but why Supreme Court has taken this particular case in emergency mode? That is what Prashant Bhushan is questioning in the second tweet. And some other important word that we can learn in this article is abrasive amid adversion of judicial conduct is no more discoherent than former CJI being accused by his colleagues of being under executive influence or misusing his power as a power of roaster with a view to obtaining favorable outcome. And it ends with the quote saying that the highest court built its stalwart frame on stellar judgments and a record of fearless independence. Our Indian judiciary is named for independence and its non-dependence on any external factors. Nowadays, our judgments, the judgment which is being released by the courts, are related to saving the liberty of some person instead of saving the independence of Indian judiciary. And in this article which is quoted to the right side, allegation of craft, not per se contempt. In this thing, He is saying that the Supreme Court is saying that allegation of corruption cannot be per se contempt because truth is defense to contempt proceeding. This is the word which is used by Prashant Bhushan in this first 4 lines of the particular paragraph. Here, the important thing that we need to note is, once again we need to go to Article 129 and Article 142. That is how contempt of case need to be filed. Here, the allegation of corruption per se cannot be contempt because the same pertains to criticism of judges for biased dispensation of justice and would would in all cases require further investigation before such allegations are brushed aside at the threshold. This is the thing that we need to keep in mind while reading this particular paragraph. Apart from that, under Article 13, Section B of Contempt of Court Act 1971, when such a truth or defense is invoked, the court to hold the alleged contemner guilty of contempt will have to necessarily return a finding that such defense is not in public interest. And second one, the request for invoking such defense is not bona fide. That has not been considered in this case. Bhushan also added one more thing: corruption in a wider sense to include any act of impropriety other than merely financial corruption. These are all things that we need to keep in mind. As I am repeatedly telling this for third day, kindly concentrate on Article 129 and Article 142, which can be asked in this year prelims or mains, or if you are a political science student, the same thing can be asked for your interview. And the last article that we are going to discuss is 4G internet restored in to J&K district. Why not in all districts of J&K, and why not in Ladakh? That can be your question. We have recently seen in a recent current affairs article itself, we have already crossed first anniversary of revoking of Article 370. Even now, the citizens of J&K and Ladakh were not been able to use their internet to express their expression in social media. Government is having a belief that if they are giving internet, high speed internet throughout the particular region, that is J&K and Ladakh, they may trigger the peace and prosperity of the particular region by uh, getting influence to some other terrorist party or anti-social elements. But government, after studying the condition and environment which are prevailing in J&K, now they have revoked 4G internet in two districts, and remaining districts they are using 2G. Few districts they are not even opened up 2G internet connection. And now we came to an end of today's All India, sorry, new, The Hindu news analysis. Thank you.